Welcome back. This week we have special guest Mr. Clark talking about the difference between men, boys, and the group in between. Take it away, Mr. Clark.
One of the biggest issues facing the African American community today is the underdevelopment of the African American male socially. This crisis must be addressed immediately. In order to do that, we first must understand that there are three that makes up the ranks of African American men. On one end of the spectrum, you have boys. On the other end of the spectrum, you have men. It's this middle character that we must begin to identify, single out, and address. First, let's talk about the boys. A boy is any African American male under the age of 16. He, if called by boy, will respond. Come here, boy. Sit down, boy. What are you doing, boy? He sees himself as a boy. He understands that he is a boy. Once he turns 17 years old, being called a boy will upset him. The other thing about the boy lives with others. He can live with his mother, his father, grandmother, his aunt, but a boy is not responsible for the roof in which he lives under. A boy will avoid responsibility, always looking at an excuse not to do something. A boy has his own style of dress, often in sports jerseys, baggy pants, hoodies, and wears shoes that does not make a sound when he walks. Boys love to play games, and boys totally rely on others for their existence. That's the boy. On the other end of the spectrum, you have African American men. African American men are totally responsible for themselves. African American men are totally self-sufficient. African American men respect themselves, respect their families, respect their neighborhoods, and respect their communities. African American men are providers. African American men are gainfully employed or participate in legal entrepreneurial ventures to take care of him, his family, and all others in his circle of care. Now, let's focus on this middle character. He is the grown dude. The only difference between the boy and the grown dude is age. The grown dude normally will live with someone, girlfriend, the mother of his child, his grandmother. The grown dude normally and too often does not have transportation. License is not in good standing, borrows other people's cars. The grown dude avoids responsibility, full of excuses why he's not employed, why he's not being a father to his child. The grown dude also dresses a lot like the boy. The grown dude loves to play games, spends more time playing games than seeking employment, and the grown dude totally relies on others. It is this middle section that we must address. This is where this common community becomes a crisis, because too often boys meet and are mentored by grown dudes before they even have an opportunity to meet and be in the company of a man. So our grown dudes are exposing boys to their behavior, and too often boys grow up to be grown dudes. How do we address that? First, we have to talk about single mothers. Single mothers, it is going to be very important that you begin to align your boys with men, that you begin to purposefully seek out men to serve as a mentor and a guide to your boy. Too often, Boys are in the company of and learn from and are exposed to grown dudes, therefore that is what they become. Then the other role is for men. Men, we've got to assert ourselves more. We've got to begin to reach out and serve as mentors to our grown dudes, teaching them in word, in deed, and in example what it takes to be a man. Because too often, they were boys who were mentored into life by grown dudes themselves. So, in conclusion, there are three that make up the ranks of African American males. On one end, you have the boy. On the other end, you have the men. The middle of this spectrum is the grown dude. We've got to begin to single this segment out, and we've got to begin to do the necessary outreach and engagement to bring them on, teach them responsibility, teach them self-sufficiency, teach them how to respect themselves and take care of themselves. After they're able to take care of themselves, they can then take care of others. Then we have to begin to purposefully align our boys with men.